to wait and watch as to how it opens, but let's go across. We have Gaurang Shah joining us of Geojit Financial, and to try and get a sense of how he's viewing the numbers. Gaurang, the trim on growth, it's not big per se, but for a Bajaj Finance, it could well be perceived negatively by the street. It could be perceived much more than just the 1 to 2% of a cut in terms of the growth guidance that they've actually given. So it could be perceived far more than what the 1 to 2% cut is. What's your sense? Is this an opportunity? Is this big? What's your view on just the growth guidance?
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Good morning to all of you all.
Good morning.
A small disclaimer before I go any further. We have a positive coverage on Bajaj Finance on the fundamental side from a long-term point of view. And all recommendations, again, are a part of our fundamental research team. Our company, Geojit, or I do not have any personal investments, no financial interest, no conflict of interest. But we give advice to our clients on similar lines. They might have their investment interest. So, actually, if you go to see, Bajaj Finance has been an outperformer since last year. Post the kind of run-up that we've seen, and of course the adjustment for split and bonus, virtually trading at its all-time high. One-off in terms of second quarter numbers, marginal miss could percolate to maybe third quarter also, no denying about it after the commentary that has been given out by the management. But overall, if you actually go to see, the interest rate coming down, translating that into or passing on to the consumer, and keeping in mind that credit growth is going to grow and it is here to stay. Of course, I can't comment on how the stock is going to react this morning post the commentary and the numbers. Maybe there might be a little bit of negative bias. But to answer your question, I think we have to look at the long-term growth story. And if I see that, then our sense is that credit demand is not only going to be here from tier 2, tier cities, metros, but more so from the semi-urban and rural India. And that's where you will see the loan book growth also coming through. Margin pressure in terms of the cost of borrowing and lending, again, we can take it as one-off or two-off quarters. But I don't think that it is going to be a big negative from a long-term point of view.
Okay, so long term, the story remains intact. But Gaurang, talk to us about the pressure that we're seeing on the MSME side of things for the company. They've trimmed their growth guidance over there as well. But on the flip side, how much do you think the consumer loan segment could aid this slowdown that we're seeing on the MSME side? And what could be the impact on the company going ahead?
So MSME has not only been a problem for Bajaj Finance, but some of the other, smaller banks as well as the NBFCs who have been in this particular segment. And this has been a teething problem for some of the NBFCs and banks. But even if I have to take a couple of examples that we've seen in the past, how the recovery has come through, then keeping in mind the efficiencies that this particular company has, Bajaj Finance, and of course the capability of overcoming this particular situation, short-term, medium-term pressure could be there. But long-term, I think if the stock has to react negatively, long-term investment will definitely be advised to investors.
Gaurang, any spillover effect of the kind of commentary that's come through from Bajaj Finance, at least on MSME? Would you be worried from an industry standpoint on MSME lending altogether?
So I think even the policies have been, made conducive enough, and further changes cannot be ruled out. Yes, pressure could be there for short to medium term. Keeping in mind the entire evolvement of the MSME sector, there could be better times ahead. This pressure could be there for some time.
Okay, and Gaurang, lastly, if you could give us your pecking order from the NBFC space based on the recent numbers we've seen, what are you liking and what would the order be?
Well, we have coverage on diversified NBFCs. Bajaj Finance is one of them as a disclosure. L&T Finance, M&M Finance, Sundaram Finance, and Shriram Finance. So these are some of the other investment idea in the NBFC category.
Okay, Gaurang, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you go on that note.